Okay, let's do it. All right, I'm ready. Hey, hello, 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 hello. It is Adrienne, Capricorn Tigress of Astrology, a look inside.com. And I am coming to talk tonight. It is just a few days before the new moon in Aquarius. And I wanted to come and talk about this upcoming new moon in Aquarius, how it might be affecting each sign, particularly. I want to talk about myself and how it might be affecting me, but everybody has got something else going on, and I want to just talk about it and let's see if this is how it plays out in reality. But I want to talk about where these planets are, and you guys, I know I need new hair, but I got to deal with the hair I got right now, okay? And this is what I'm dealing with, okay? This is my reality right now. So, you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this music down, although I love this song, but I want to get started. So I just unceremoniously just cut that off because I really want to talk about, first of all, where the planets are, what we're looking at, what's going on, and how I think this is going to affect each of the signs and what we can do about what that is and the whole nine yards. So right now the moon is at 8 degrees of Capricorn, which means it's technically on my sun right now. And the sun is at 7 degrees of Aquarius, which is in my first house, sitting on my Mercury and in between my Mercury and Saturn. So I do feel a certain sense of responsibility of coming here, providing this information and getting it to you before the new moon. So we all have this information available to us in time. Right now, also, Mercury is at 28 degrees of Capricorn. And so we've got that Mercury still in Capricorn. We've got Venus in Pisces. So we've got Venus over there. And Venus, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it was actually conjoined Saturn like a week ago, but now it's pulled away. Venus is at 23 degrees. And it's actually sextile Mars, which is at 22 degrees. So we got Mars in Cancer at 22 degrees. It's still retrograde. So Mars has been retrograde, and we're going to talk about that a little bit, I think, too, in Cancer. Jupiter is currently retrograde as well, and that is retrograde in the sign of Gemini. Okay, so we've got that. Saturn is in Pisces, and let's see here. We also have Uranus in Taurus. So here is Uranus. I'm just making a visual picture of what I see before me. We've got Neptune at 27 degrees of Pisces. So we also have Neptune in Pisces here. And that is getting close to leaving. It's at 50 degrees, 27 degrees and 50 minutes of Pisces. I mentioned Pluto being in Aquarius. North Node. Oh, the North Node has moved out of Aries and now, and the North Node is officially at 28 degrees of Pisces. So the North Node is actually sitting on Neptune right now. And maybe we should talk about that in one of my videos as well, because I think like that's going to affect a lot of people. Also Chiron. Now Chiron's still in Aries, but the North Node has moved out of Aries and into Pisces. So I wanted to just get a visual for myself, and I'm going to let you see what I just did, just in case you're like, what was she doing? And I'll just let you see, because for me, visuals are everything. I was just creating an actual physical map for myself when I talk. Okay, this is how I talk. I talk in astrology. Okay, and this tells me a lot. You might be like, that just is a bunch of gobbledygook. No, it is telling me, it's a map. it's letting me know right now that most of the emphasis is down below the horizon. It's most of us, I think, are in a very subjective place right now. And I gotta say what I gotta say because I got a big mouth and I'm trying to watch my mouth, by the way, because I'm so open and I gotta be open to everybody. And that means how everybody feels about everything. And I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna say to insult anyone or upset anyone. But as you well know, we've had the ice droppings all over the country. And I'm in a sanctuary city. I'm in Seattle, and it was unnerving. But I understand where some people are coming from. Like, first of all, I didn't realize we had that many immigrants or non-Americans just floating around, let alone non-American criminals. And so I'm not siding with all of this, but I am saying, like if it was that many, like, yeah, maybe they, if it's that many criminals. So I just, there is all of that. We're all dealing with the reality of that. Like, oh, like really? It was that many criminals? So, I mean, we're dealing with that. But the other thing is, I feel like there's also this fear of persecution if you're brown or black, regardless. And I'm just praying that they stick to the guidelines here, which is immigrants, right? Illegal immigrants, and not just anybody. Because I heard that they were just targeting anybody of color, which is frightening because I'm of color. Okay, so we don't want to go through that. So I've just been telling everyone, make sure you've got your birth certificate if you can, your state ID, your passport if you've got one, and have all of that. And when I look at this, it really makes me think of that because do you see all the emphasis around the first and second house? That's about our identity. This is all about identity. And I feel like the sun, the moon, Pluto of all things, really bringing to the forefront dealing with people's identity. Like, what are you? Are you from here? Show us your papers. Also, with Pluto being there with the sun and the moon, that Pluto is Hades, the devil. It's fear. No wonder there's fear. And it's right in the first house. It's right there for the world to see. So a lot of people are seeing this, and I've noticed there was a lot of people who are applauding it. I mean, because if there are illegal immigrants here and it is a problem, then I can see why we would want to take care of that. But the fear is there. Also, do you see how Uranus is down in the fourth house? That is your comfort, your security, your home, all of that. First of all, let me go back before I even go to the comfort and the security and the home life. That the sun and the moon in Aquarius is about our freedom. It's about feeling freedom in your own home, in general. And the fact that Pluto is on that and the sun and moon, and it's in Aquarius, it's all about the freedoms that we have and independence, to be independent, to be free, to be individuals and whatnot. So all of these things are coming to the forefront. But then when you add the ruler of Aquarius, see, that's what I was trying to get at, because Aquarius is the ruler, or Aquarius, Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, and that is in the fourth house. And so it is affecting things like people, whether someone is naturalized or if they were born here, if this is actually their real home or their homeland, or if their homeland is elsewhere. There's like all of these issues about whether or not that person, if this is their home. And I just feel like this is amazing, especially since Mars is retrograde in Cancer. It's in the sixth house, right? But Mars, or Cancer, excuse me, is our country is a Cancer country. I don't know if a lot of people know that. So I feel like when Mars is being affected in the sign of Cancer, it's almost like our country's got this aggressive feel to it. So you see a lot of military and the ICE people, and there's a lot of arrests and things being made, depending on what city you're in. Like I said, I'm in a sanctuary city, so we're seeing it here on the news and stuff like that. And there's a lot of people who are very cautious about it. You guys, I am so sorry I'm picking with my hair. I just see how ratty it is right now and it's bothering me. So I'm so sorry about that. But yeah, I just feel like places like Seattle and other places that there's a lot of ice, you might see a lot of this playing out where people's freedoms are being. I mean, some people are losing their freedom. I mean, I didn't, some people I guess don't belong here. They weren't, they're not naturally from here. And so a lot of that is going on. We're going to see that, I guess, throughout, I guess, the rest of Aquarius season. So expect that. Also, I do believe when we've got the North Node and Saturn and Neptune, like the North Node and Neptune are exactly on each other. So I don't know if we know the whole picture. I feel as though that there are things being done that we don't know about. We don't know. I just feel like a lot of us are in this, we don't know. We just know that certain things, like, yeah, if there's criminals, arrest them. If they're illegal, take them. I mean, that certain things, that's what we know, right? But as far as the answers to things and what is right and what is wrong, I feel like with Neptune and the North Node being together, I feel like the area of what is right and what is wrong has been blurred. And we really just don't know yet. I feel like that's part of it. Venus is there and Saturn is there. Saturn's kind of heavy there as well. So I just feel like we don't know. And we're just waiting it out. We're just trying to figure things out. We want it to be as safe and comfortable as possible. But right now, with Chiron in the third house, I think even communication is being is heavily at in danger, if not injured. It just I'm not sure what kind of communication you're getting. I don't know what you trust at this point. I guess, we've got what, 60, 70 more days of TikTok. But I feel in general with Chiron being in the area of communications, that communication in general is in jeopardy, in danger right now. And I think we're all going to feel it because this is like if Aquarius was in the first house, which it is right now. So I feel like this is what we're all experiencing. Also, I do feel like with Capricorn in the 12th house and Mercury there, that we're not all thinking clearly either because Mercury is in the 12th house. It's like we're thinking, but it's not clear. And like I said, with the North Node on Neptune, that is not clear. Mercury in the 12th house in Capricorn, that is not clear. There's a lot of not clearness going on. We also have these two major planets retrograde, which is Mars and Jupiter. Mars is in the fifth house and Jupiter is in the sixth. Mars in Gemini in the fifth house has run amok. I'm telling you, Gemini has run amok. And I said this because, first of all, didn't I tell you in one of my videos before that Jupiter does not belong in Gemini? It's in its opposite home. It's not, it's definitely in its detriment. And it might, in this house, might even be in its fall. Jupiter does not belong in Gemini. And so a lot of exuberance and happiness and joy, I'm seeing it, but I'm like, ooh. I told you it's too much of a good thing. So I think that with this, with it retrograding, maybe it might be curtailing too much of a good thing. I hope. I don't know. You guys, I never feel good when Jupiter is in Gemini. Like it's only every 12 years, but the damage done, when Jupiter is in Gemini is always so devastating. Um, yeah. Also, I would say with it retrograding, everybody just be careful with your children and also be careful with taking chances. I wouldn't take chances right now when Jupiter is retrograde. The urge to take chances might be there, but would I take them? No, I would take no chances whatsoever. That's why I just been telling everybody, get your birth certificates ready. Like, there's no use in arguing about it at this point. We're already in this. So, just do what you've got to do. I wouldn't argue with it at this point, not with Chiron in the house of communications. I would tell everybody there is nothing you can say or do at this point. Communication is futile. I'm just saying. I just feel like at this point, all I can do is just be a watcher and just see how it all plays out. But for most of us, we're looking like, oh. Also, I do feel like with Saturn, Neptune, Venus, and the North Node in their second house, I heard this is so bad. Some people are upset because they're like, eggs went up, they didn't go down, gas went up, it didn't go down. And I'm like, well, with Saturn in the second house, yeah, this might not be the last thing that goes up. I'm just saying, you guys, I want you to be aware of that. Don't expect any miracles or anything. Also with Mars in the third, sixth house, retrograde, Mars is in Cancer in the third. I keep saying in the third, that's Chiron in the third. What is this in my mind? Mars is in the sixth house in Cancer and it's retrograde. That's what I meant to say. But the sixth house, I just feel like with some work might be, I don't want to say restricted, but it might be that some people are going back to work or that they have to retrack, reevaluate work or their health. But there's just this vibe of backtracking here, and it's in the area of health and work. And I had heard that one of the first day decisions that came down was that he got rid of or is banning, I want to say it's remote work. It might be teleworking. I would say if you work from home for any major company, or yeah, you need to check with your company because if they ban that, I'm not sure they're going to be able to do home-based remote work or telework. Now, this might get reversed. Maybe that's what the retrograde is, but it is in the sixth house, and the sixth house rules work. Also, they pulled out of the WHO, which is the World Health Organization. So that's also backtracking health, right? Work and health. And also, I think it's the Department of Health and Human Services or something of that nature has been shut down or is getting shut down. I swear, I kid you not. I never thought I would ever hear that in my life, but it's true. Also, things like the civil rights has been disbanded, or civil unions, civil liberties. If it has the word civil justice or anything that has to do with equity, equality, justice, all the things that the Coca-Cola commercials told us back in the 70s we were looking forward to. All those things are gone. All those things people marched for in the 60s and early 70s, they took that. I think he then rolled all that back. At this point, if I am not mistaken, the one law that, because I had saw it and I made a video about it, and there's a law that was made, and I swear, let me see if I can find this, and then I'll tell you. 'Cause I don't like the misquote, but I'm just telling you what's real. I'm not saying anything in particular, but I do want you to be aware that, some of this stuff is happening. And I don't know if everybody is truly aware of, how deep some of this stuff is that's happening. Like, what? Okay, here it is. I just saw this here. And I'm going to see if you guys can see it. I'll share it with you if I can. Hold on. Let me see if I can just pause it. Okay, let me see if I can share it. That way it's a lot easier. Wait, let me see. It's a lot better to share. Oh, wait, it's messing up. Oh, God bless. Okay, go to your Zoom, click your Zoom. Okay, hit share screen. Okay, here we go. There's no real sound there. So I just want you guys to see it and read it. And I'll read it, right? Because I posted this on my TikTok, and I think I shared it on Facebook. It says, I warned y'all, Trump just revoked Executive Order 11246, which prohibited employers from discriminating against sex, race, religion, sexual orientation, and more. You can now be refused employment simply for being Hispanic or Black or a woman or LGBTQ. This was never about groceries or gas. This is Project 2025. And this is the video that I had made. I just, it's just me with my mouth open in shock, like, what? Because I'm older, right? And I'm from the age of when they had originally created a lot of these things, like the civil rights and all of that kind of stuff, right? Because I'm a '60s baby. I am definitely, I am one of the old people. So just so that you know, and I just look cute for my age, but I'm older. But I'm from the age where, I like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony, right? I thought it was all about equality and justice and being together. It's what I taught my kid. That's why she's confused. My daughter's married to a white man with blonde hair. I never taught her anything about racism. We didn't have nothing about racism in our family. I don't even know who my daddy is. I got way too much Scottish in me for anything. I don't know who my daddy is. And well, there's Taino in there, so there is some Puerto Rican. But my thing is, I wasn't raised with racism. I knew it was all around me. I grew up in a town that was that led to an underground railroad. It was an old historic black town called Sadlertown in New Jersey. I kid you not, this is a true story. And all the families that were there had been there. We were already installed in that town. They built that white community around that black town. And but all the people in around us were rich. I grew up with rich white children. But I remember in 1976, Walter Mondale came to our town, walked under our church into the woods. We had an underground. It was an underground city. We were an underground railroad city, and there was a hidden passageway from our church, Rhodes Temple Church, to the woods that was there, and he walked it. And we had a plaque that was there. I heard they removed it because, racism has set in. But it used to say Historic Sadlertown. I've got it somewhere in a picture. Historic Sadlertown. And had something like 1776, 1976, or something to that effect. It was something like that. But I'll never forget that because we got to meet Walter Mondale. But it was one of those things where I grew up thinking, that's over. That was the past. I learned about things like slavery. We were in a really progressive white town. Like our school was one of the highest rated schools in the nation, in New Jersey, but they were very honest about racism and very honest about slavery. They taught us everything. I mean, I remember crying about it, but I wouldn't have fought to have it removed. I felt wiser for having learned the truth. I feel like the kids around me, it might have changed them a little bit. If anything, I think it gave them a feeling of superiority. I heard recently why they wanted to not teach kids is because they felt like it would harm them. And I'm like, no, it made them feel superior. Once they knew that, they're like, oh, okay, so we're better, right? Or it's like it sets in. So, I mean, from that viewpoint, if you want to get rid of it, that maybe it'll help take that away. I don't know. But I never had really a lot of problems with the kids from my school. Maybe it's because they did teach them the truth. We knew it, like from the beginning. I grew up with most of those kids. I'm still friends with most of those kids. We're friends on Facebook. So I don't know. I can't explain it. I know that racism exists, though. I just remember when we were trying. And I think that's what I want to say. I don't know if we're trying right now. Is this trying? I mean, we're all banding together against illegals. Maybe that's us banding together. I don't know. I just want us to try and to not harm our own people and to be good to each other. I really am a '70s kid. Like I am. Like I believed all that good stuff. Like I really believed it. We did everything together. Like some of my best memories are just being out in my backyard with Billy Joel, blasting Only the Good Die Young, and all our friends out there with our kegs and partying. Like I had that kind of like 80s movie like I did. I grew up with that. So when I'm seeing stuff like happening now and I'm like, wow, I'm praying for everybody because I was kind of popular in high school. I was like my school secretary and everything. My brother was really popular. We had all the house parties. Everyone partied with us. And I just wish more people had positive experiences about the races and the differences. Maybe I was lucky. I grew up in a good pocket of time, maybe, where we were trying, like we were trying. I just remember being out in the backyard, just like singing Fleetwood Mac to the top of my lungs. We actually got to meet Fleetwood Mac and Genesis. Like we were doing all kind of crazy stuff. We did a lot of stuff. Anyway, I had a great brother who was um, always trying to meet stars, and I just hung out with him because I was like his sidekick. And so I think I had a better childhood than most people. That it blurred the line of racism. I When I talk about my youth to my daughter, or what I go through now and being light in the America we live in now, she's like, "Mommy, you're kind of like a what is it like? I kind of got caught up in something. Like it's not my fault, I'm like part of something that's different. Like it was not a problem to be like me then, whatever that is. Okay, but it is now. And like I just noticed there's a lot of she said I'm a casualty of war. That's what it is. Casualty of war. When you're just a little bit too pale, you don't fit in here, you don't fit in there. You're just a little bit too different for everybody. Like I don't fit in any of the things I'm supposed to be. So I'm supposed to be, according to the things, I'm supposed to be black, Puerto Rican, and I got way too much Scottish, right? So white, I guess. And I don't really fit in any of those places. Not really. Not, I used to fit in when I was black and just had a little afro. No one paid attention to me much. But I feel like as I got older and things changed, and then I married a man from England, and I changed a little. And I feel like I don't know now. So I feel like I've never changed, but I feel like the way people look at me, judge me, has changed. Being me now is a whole thing, I think. I'm always afraid they're going to accuse me of being like, you're a colorist or something like that. And I'm like, no, I'm just alive. I'm sorry. Leave me alone, Lord. I'm just like, I don't care. I'm not into that. I can't, because I can't change who I am. I'm going to be who I am. And sometimes I'm just like, I just want to back out, back away, you hide. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I've been called Michael Jackson more than I can even put into words. Like, if you check my YouTube videos, I bet you can find people calling me MJ there. Yeah, I've gone through it. I've gone through it. Okay, I know what being different is like, and that's really what all this emphasis in Aquarius is about. And that's really what I'm trying to get at. I got Aquarius in the first house. I know what it feels like to be othered and to be different my whole life. One of my first memories of life is my older brother Wayne saying, "Mommy, why am I chocolate and she's butterscotch?" I couldn't have been more than a year or so. And he was crying. And he was really dark when he was little, and I was really pale when I was little. I've actually gotten darker. But that was one of my first memories, and feeling so sad and feeling guilty. A part of it was this weird guilt that I was something that he couldn't be. And it was something that followed us for years because he used to beat the heck out of me. My brother beat me a lot until I was 13, and then I beat him back. But he used to beat me all the time. And I never understood it, what it was. But I later found out he was gay. So I think he was just jealous because I was a girl. He used to call me buttermilk, like you're just buttermilk. So I don't know. We all grow up with these different things. And for a lot of Americans, they grew up with this thing about these illegal immigrants. So for them, it will feel, I guess, cathartic, I guess, to get rid of them. I never knew there was over 1 million of them here, these illegal immigrants they're targeting, but whatever. But I feel like in general, a lot of us are going to feel this Aquarius in the first house. We're going to feel different. We're going to feel like, especially if you're black or brown, or you've got any black or brown in you, because the rumor was that they're just targeting people who are black or brown. I could be wrong. So I just been telling everyone to have your papers, be prepared, but you might just feel like you don't fit in. It is Aquarius season. We got the moon there, the sun there, and Pluto there. The likelihood of you feeling like you don't fit in this month is very darn high, very high. Or seeing something you never saw before. Or I'm just afraid of a revolution because Aquarius is the sign that rules things like revolts, revolutions, stuff like that. Like the French Revolution, I think the last time we had a combination like this, it was during that time frame. So we're dealing with that. We're dealing with that. But please love and accept yourself. I don't care who you are. There's nothing wrong with you, regardless. It doesn't matter what color you are, what ethnicity you are. It doesn't matter. You are exactly who God, the universe, chose you to be. You are exactly the way you're supposed to be. You're perfect exactly as you are right now. You are the perfection that was created. And you were created for a reason. In your difference, in your uniqueness, in your individuality. It is what makes you you. It's what makes you stand out. It's everything. Okay? Don't be ashamed of being different or unique or black or brown or white or Asian or I don't know. We're all dealing with something different, right? It's all hitting us different. It's because we're all coming from a different place. Some people are from, immigrants or children of immigrants or not originally from here. And the way it's hitting them is going to be completely different than it hit someone like me who was born here, whose mother was born here, whose grandmother was born here, whose great grandmother was born, whose great great grandma, whose great 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 great, whose great 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 great, whose great 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 great. I go all the way back to a president. So I great 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 great. We've always been here probably before Trump's family got here. So it hits me differently than it would be hitting someone who might be connected with illegal immigrants. The only thing I'm concerned about, my daughter might get a job where she has to work in this field, and I'm concerned. It's a good paying job, but I'm worried. We as parents, we want to protect our children from doing any kind of yucky work, but I guess it's the work that needs to be done. So anyway, I just wanted to mention this because when I look at that, that's the kind of stuff I see. Just looking at these kind of things, I see that for all of us. And that concerns me. Okay, that concerns me. I'm going to actually do something. I'm going to take a break on this video because me just discussing the planets and then I went into a long dissertation about everything. I don't want to make this too long because I want to talk to each sign individually, each zodiac sign individually, and talk to you about how it could possibly affect you, your if it's your sun sign or your rising sign, over the next couple of weeks, because this is going to affect us for a couple of weeks. This is not just going to be on the 29th, or you're probably already feeling it now. I feel it already now. That's why I'm talking about it. But we're going to be feeling it for the next couple of weeks because it's all that emphasis in Aquarius and all this stuff about freedom and people's uniqueness and their individuality and all of that kind of stuff. That's what's coming up. That's, the ice people are going to have to go out and do their jobs. And so, we're going to be dealing with this for the next couple of weeks. So I want to talk to each sign individually about what's going to happen to them. But this was overall, okay? It's very subjective. And when I look at this, I feel like a lot of people are just going to be hiding out at home. They just don't want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with whatever, if there's any kind of revolt or any kind of riots, or I don't know what's going on out there. I refuse to deal with it. And you might be in that place too. Especially with Mars and Cancer in retrograde. I mean, I just feel like Mars and Cancer in the first place is just so much emotion. It's just so aggressive because it's so much emotion, and it's like pent up emotion. So there might be a lot of people who have had pent up emotion about this subject for a long time, the border and the immigration and stuff like that. And it's just all coming out in an aggressive way. So just expect that. I wouldn't expect a lot of compassion at all. Not now. Not when the moon and the sun and Pluto are almost together, are basically together in Aquarius. There's no compassion there. It's thinking. It's an air sign. There's a lot of thinking going on, but compassion, no. And they're not thinking either, because thinking, remember, is in the 12th house in Capricorn. So all restriction is off. Also, with Mars, there's no nurturing. It's retrograde. It's in Cancer. So all things that would make them want to nurture, protect, whatever, they're not thinking of that. They're just thinking about doing their jobs. When I see Mars retrograde in Cancer in the 6th house, it reminds me of the Nuremberg trials. We were just doing our job. Just doing their job. That's what it is. So I would say, and with Uranus in the 4th house, get your papers together if you're black or brown and prepare for whatever. Don't let anything surprise you. Nothing should surprise you. Not with the sun, moon, and Pluto, and in the 1st house and Uranus in the 4th. No, nothing should surprise you right now. Anything is possible. With Uranus in the 4th house, I mean, they're just looking at it as homeland security. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what I'm assuming. And at this point, I'm thinking that's going to take precedence over everything. I mean, I could go even deeper. The fact that we're looking at Taurus, Uranus, and the fact that all that Pisces is in the second house of Taurus. So that your Neptune and Saturn and North Node and Venus, and don't forget Venus is the ruler of Taurus. There's an inner thing going on here, and it all has to do with our security, our comfort, our feeling at home, at peace, our families, protection. So protect yourself, protect your home, protect your family. Make sure you can get all the paperwork you need for your identity, because all that 1st house of Aquarius is the identity. And just prepare for this. This is what's going on until they get, I guess, whatever they're after. We're just going to have to deal with it as civilians the best we can. In the meantime, don't turn on each other. That's why I talked about all the 70s stuff. We have to love each other, people. I don't think this is the right time to turn on each other. We should not. We should be unifying together. And, caring about each other and protecting each other, because that's all we will have is each other. It looks like, right? So this might be also about rebonding with your own family and friends and people you care about. Make sure you tell the people you love that you love them, and get in touch with those that you care about. Make sure everyone you love is okay. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to come back and then I'll do the actual horoscopes for all the signs because I didn't get to do that. And I just want to thank you for sticking in here. If you lasted this long with me, my goodness. Because in my own way, I guess I was doing my own little preaching sermon, right? I wanted to talk about it. But I thank you for that. Thank you for that. And much love to you. Okay. Much love to you. And I will be back with those other horoscope signs in just a few.